Hello. Hi, everybody. It's me, Jennifer Stenhouse from Little Metal Foxes. Hello. And give you a minute to join in and say hi with me. Hello there. How are you? Hello. And there you are. Gonna have Chris join me today. There we go. Let's see. There you are.
Going on?
Hello there. Sorry, yeah. Just got off work a little bit late, so I apologize for those of you that were waiting.
You're fine. I was still working.
Oh, were you? Yeah. Me too. Yeah, we were working on some new prototypes for at Baleen. So, yay. And,
I was working in the shipping department.
oh, yeah. At Line Punch Forge. Oh,
Yeah.
yahoo! There you go. All right.
So all this stuff is going out tomorrow.
Hooray! Good. Stones, tools, all kinds of cool stuff.
What's that?
Stones and tools and all kinds of good stuff.
This one is all going to be the paperclip mandrels.
Oh my gosh. Awesome. Yeah, the paperclip mandrels, for those of you that don't know, are great for doing oval jump rings. And yeah.
More of like an elongated oval, not like a curb.
Yeah. So lovely. Yeah. Fantastic. Hi, Tracy.
Yeah.
Hello. All right. Well, hi, Martha. Hello there. Yeah. So tonight's tool talk, I wanted to talk a little bit about ring forming pliers because we're using them a lot right now. They've kind of been on my mind. And we've been talking about updating finishing tools and doing all kinds of stuff. So I just wanted to kind of do a shout out for ring forming pliers because there's a lot of good ones out there and I've got a few in front of me. So these are my favorite ones. I love these guys. Love these. So
Those are Euros?
These are the Euro tools, yeah, from Euro Tool. And I love these guys because they have the little nylon tubing on one side, and using these to shape for rings or earrings or hoops, whatever you're doing. These are really kind of nice, and I use them for making frames for filigree. I use them for all kinds of stuff. But I like the fact that they're like cylinder shapes, and it's stepped. They're not tapered, which is nice.
Yeah.
But for a heavier pattern metal, these can be really great because they don't damage the pattern, which I love. And it's funny because we had one at work, and they took off the plastic, and I'm like, "Where's the sleeve?" And they were like, "What are you talking about?" And I'm like, "The plastic sleeve that came on this," and they were like, "Yeah."
That was just for packaging.
And I thought it was for packaging, and I was like, "No, it's actually to protect your pattern from getting destroyed." But I have to say, for square wire, these things are fantastic because you can get a really great grip and work in small sections. And square wire usually has it wants to torque over on side just because it's trying to stretch and shape differently. What? Perfectly flat. So if you're working on square wire in small sections at a time with lots of support, so I'm only bending like this much at a time, it can't roll over. So for square wire, I love these babies. They're awesome.
A lot of the time, if you have one of those and you don't have a protector, you can go to the hardware store and go and find water tubing, like the tubing that you would have for hooking your refrigerator up to water or anything like that.
Yeah.
That stuff usually has different diameters, and you can find one that has the internal diameter.
Right.
Putting it on can be a little bit hard. So I take some dish soap and then
slide it on. Yeah, and you can warm up the tube too. Use like a gun, warm it up and slide it on when it's a little malleable. And when it cools, it kind of cools down and contracts a little bit and stays on better. But these are consumable. So you can easily go to, the hardware store and get new ones or softer ones or use, sleeves that shrink on there, shrink tubes or whatever.
Surgical tubing.
Surgical tubing, yeah. If you use something even softer. So these are really good. I love these, my favorite. The other ones that I really like are these, also from Eurotool. And these are great because the nylon, again, is great for, patterned rings and patterned wire, and just protects it from getting damaged and when bending. And it again is good for things like square wire because, like trying to do this upside down and backwards, but because you can kind of work in a small section at a time like that, it keeps the square wire square and keeps it from not like wanting to roll over and go a little cockeyed on you. So anything that's going to support the square wire, I am a fan of. One of my other favorites, I love these. I have 6 options for making crazy little rings. So not like people-sized rings, but for doing like forming and stuff. These are great. Any of the cylinder forming pliers like this are really helpful because they're not tapered. I can get consistency. I know that it's always going to be the same size. So this is a huge help when I'm doing stuff like that.
And if one of them breaks, normally they break in the small area. Mm-hmm. Don't throw it away. It's still good.
Yeah. You have more options. You still have 65 different options. These are one of my other ones, though. I like this. So the combination round and flat, because the flat is really kind of nice if you're trying to sort of get a grip and just trying to like do an outside curve. And you can still use the tubing, on either one of these. I'm not a fan of tape. How do you feel about tape?
I typically don't. Tape gets marred easily, and then you have some. Depending on how hard you're pressing, you can have one area bend less or more because you're increasing and decreasing the distance between the touch points. And
right.
I'm just not a.
Be sticky, messy, and inaccurate. And I can't, a lot of times if it sinks down in the tape, you can't see what's really happening where your contact point is. So no. I like the hard plastic best.
Well, you can take, do you have a Pepe disc cutter with you?
I do.
You can grab that real fast, the little red urethane pad.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. This guy?
Yeah, that guy.
Yeah.
So you can cut a thin strip off of that because you don't need all of it. And you can wrap that onto your pliers between your ring and something else so that you can have like a type of protection on there that you may not need all the time. It's just a little extra kind of cushion and protection using that urethane.
Yeah, I usually use, and I do that with my flat pliers. I have got leather strips in here that I used. The double-sided carpet tape is really super strong hold, and so leather works really well, and that tape just holds on forever, and then you can use a solvent if you want to pull it off, which is really kind of
you can find thin sheets of that urethane on eBay all day long. Right.
So the other thing that I would say about any of the forming pliers like that too is that you can actually dress the corners of these if you're getting marks and mars on them, just to like take a file or sandpaper and smooth down the edges so that they're not as sharp, and that way you don't have the hard marking corners that you have on when you're trying to bend stuff. But I think a lot of it is learning how to control your grip. One of the things, if you were doing like hairdressing or working with, like really high precision scissors, is that you don't hold you hold the scissors like this, and you're moving your thumb and not like your whole hand. And with these, I usually end up holding them kind of like hairdressing scissors. So I end up kind of working, like bracing it against the length of my thumb and doing my forming that way. And that way I have a little bit looser grip, and I'm not like completely closing down to the point that I'm crunching the wire, but I'm bracing the wire and bending around the pliers, not using the pliers to twist. And that will relieve a lot.
Eliminating the ability for your hand to fully crush whatever you're doing by messing with that. So it's like a built-in safety mechanism.
Yeah. So I can't like crush down hard on the wire. And that's deliberate because I'm like bracing the wire and twisting rather than crushing the wire and forcing it to roll. It's a lot easier if you have a little bit of leverage to be able to pull it around rather than like try and roll it. But yeah. Anyway, that's my gig on the forming pliers. And I love these guys because they come in a bunch of different sizes. The other thing you can do is use a little bit, if you need to get a really specific size, is use jet set and make your own shape and conforming pliers that you can actually just screw right in with these. Because these have like little screws right there, right there.
Yeah,
You can actually like make your own forms with the screws in place and just do the jet set around it. And that way you've got like a conforming plier that you can make your own like size ring, right?
Now you can, I believe wax paper is immune to the jet set. So you can stick it between your two jaws, form it around something, and then once it dries, you can lift it out and your wax paper comes out, and then your jaws are left without having to try and like manipulate the two together.
So if it's like thick, the question is from Bizarak, is which pliers would you use to form a ring out of thick half-round wire? I like these, and I like these. Those are the two that I'm usually using for stuff like that, because these are, and I like these better because I feel like I get a better grip with these. These can be a little slick, but yeah, these are my two go-tos for heavy gauge. For sure.
So if you don't have that particular tool, especially half round, you've got a round surface that you're trying to press a flat surface against, and you can sometimes get that little divot. This is where that urethane pad comes in handy, where you throw that on the rounded surface that's going to be pressing onto the domed surface, and you can assist yourself in bending that around. One of the other things that I would recommend is that if you don't have like a beefy bending plier, use your bench pin, because you can put your wire in your pliers and you can brace it on your bench pin, and you can use your bench pin to curve and roll that ring around. And when it's used that way, you're using more leverage than you are, brute force.
There's another one that's more of a it's like a V piece of like a V plier, and it has like a V and a piece that pushes in. Those are really great for the for bending really heavy gauge. The other thing that I really like for heavy gauge is just using my Swage Block. So if I'm using my if you're really worried about marring Bizarak, use your annealed metal, right? So you're using a annealed half-round wire, and put it the shape face that you want to be on the outside down into your Swage Block, and then using a like a dapping punch or a cylinder, you can tap that down and that'll bend it, and then you can use the Swage Block to shape your ring, and that's really helpful. And you can actually use plastic or Delrin or brass or rawhide to shape those in the Swage Block rather than using pliers to grip it. And that works. I just taught that class this weekend for the forming class, and we talked about that. So it really is helpful for heavier gauge because you can get a little more impact and force to get things closed. So
now, if you want a dedicated tool for ring bending and you want to invest in something that will be a part of your bench and not necessarily a pair of pliers, because pliers can be consumables.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
So if you want like a dedicated thing, Pepe Tools has a superior ring bender.
Yes.
And it has different size mandrels, and then also a male and a female die, basically. But the set also comes with Delrin female dies. So you can stick your half round in there, and then you just pull on a lever, and that lever ends up doing all of your bending for you. So
Tracy Gross, let me show you what a Swage Block is. It is, let's see, so you can easily make a wooden Swage Block by putting two pieces of wood together and drilling. And I know Chris has talked about this. So making your own swage block. But swage blocks are blocks like this. Dapping blocks are good for, this also has like the dapping holes in it. And it also has oval. But it's got triangle, this one does not have the rectangle. Some of them have rectangles, but it has a really long, narrow little scoops, little half pipes. And so using dapping punch or a cylinder punch, you can shape right into those. And the wooden ones you can do really nice and deep. They are half round if you drill into a piece of wood or two pieces of wood. You get that nice split. And those are great for forming rings, for sure. Yeah.
I might do a video on how to make a wood one.
I think that'd be a good idea.
You know, I haven't seen one.
Yeah. Well, you've got the refacing your hammers class coming up on Saturday. So that's going to be a really good chance to sort of, make and create and reface and polish up the hammer and other tools as well, because it works on other things that are steel. Yeah. But, you can go from like, ugh, to wow, with Chris on Saturday.
Sign up.
Yeah, absolutely. There's still a couple of seats available.
We got some spots left. Yeah, I think so.
There are a couple. That'll work. Yeah. Yeah. So, what's your, for heavy forming, what for rings, what's your go-to for that?
So heavy forming, if I were going to use, I was just at the blacksmith shop earlier yesterday, so I was doing a lot of heavy hammer swinging on some steel. But I really like using if I was using a heavy gauge ring band, like I don't know, like a 12 gauge, because that's not fun to work with at all.
Right.
I use the technique of bracing the metal and my pliers against my bench pin, and then using that leverage on my bench pin. The typical pliers that I'm using for that, I don't want to use one that has a real small diameter, because that's going to be more apt to leave divots and marks in your metal. What I would end up doing is probably use. Do you have your that first one that you showed, your favorite with the see that the big diameter there on the bottoms? I just take my metal right on my bench pin and use that to just arc it around.
Yeah. I think anytime you've got, and people will try and do that with like these, and this has such a small little kiss spot, right? It's just such a narrow little kiss spot that it's going to pinch. I mean, it's sort of like, taking your fingers and going, and pinching the metal. And this, because it's so wide, gives you more grip, and it's less likely to pinch the metal and mar it that way.
Think about it like that.
A lot of people don't have the strength to be able to brace it and rotate it like that. So that's why the swage blocks can be a real good way to sort of get that bend and use some force and a mallet for stuff like 12 gauge. Because a lot of people just don't have the upper body strength to muscle around a 12 gauge piece of wire. So
one of the things, if you think about like why wouldn't you use a small plier? Think about it like going for a walk in the snow, and one person has snowshoes and the other person has crutches.
Right. So the crutches are going bing, 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 straight in the snow. And
no shoes.
You're displacing more water. Yeah. Like a boat.
Perfect. Yeah. So big surfaces like a boat, small surfaces like a torpedo.
like a stick sink.
Yeah.
The boat displaces water. Yeah. So you're displacing a greater surface, so the pinch you don't have something cutting in to the metal quite the same way. But
and if you do that, you'll end up with a bunch of scallops on the inside and outside of your ring, and that's no fun to clean up.
Well, and even if you're using like the other pair of combination forming pliers that I like is one that is like it's like a real big curve round on the bottom and flat on the top, and again you have less opportunity for it to like mark the metal. But if it's half round on the outside and flat on the inside, the problem is that that dome on top, again, is such a small place that anything that comes in contact with it can damage that dome. So that's an opportunity to actually customize a pair of pliers like this for half round wire. Or again, if you're doing a lot of that, the Pepe ring bender is a really, really good one. And so it's because of those Delrin female inserts, it has the ability, and you have more leverage to be able to bend those around a little more easily.
It uses a cam. So anytime you put something on a cam, it's increased like a pulley. It's increasing the leverage and decreasing your force input.
Right. So, but that's the other way. And, for people that do that regularly, it's worth the investment to get the tool that you need or adapt a tool that's going to work for you. Because a lot of times the tool that you need doesn't exist until you make it. Right? So there's a long history of people making tools to suit their own needs or making tools to suit a niche. So, yeah.
Absolutely. Now, another pair of forming pliers for rings tends to be a more traditional one. I have one of these downstairs in my shop, but it basically has a V-shaped jaw on the bottom and a
that's what I was talking about.
Yeah, is that what you're talking? Okay,
that's what I was talking about. Like a V, and then it's got the pressure.
That tends to mar in two spots. On the side, and if I were to use it on a regular basis, I would want to go in and grind and round off the kind of B section a little bit, because it's not ideal.
Or even if you're doing the half round wire, that might be like going with a wide ball burr and like carve your channel or something.
Or the Delrin strip that I was talking about.
Yeah. Or the jet set, make your own inserts for, stuff like that. Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah.
Just a little jaw insert.
Jet set ballistic has a little more, I think it has it has a grit or a pumice to it, so it has a little more grip. It's not as slick.
You can get two kinds, I think.
Yeah, there's the jet set basic, which is a little slick, like Delrin, and then there's the jet set ballistic, which has the little bit of grit to it, so it has some grip. I think it's pumice. It feels like it's mixed in.
Yeah.
It's a little more sensitive to overheating and reuse than the basic, but it's great for stuff like that. So
there's another one that GRS has for stone setting. I can't remember that. It says thermoplastic as well.
Yeah, but, I mean, any of the thermoplastics you could use for that. It doesn't have to be jet set, but thermoplastic for sure. So yeah, well, cool. Well, I'm looking forward to your class this weekend. I think that's going to be fun. And I know you've got a secret discount code. So, which is, what's your discount code? Remember what it is? People can
Lion Punch 10.
Lion Punch 10
is my discount code for Little Metal Foxes classes. So if you haven't taken one and you want to, Lion Punch 10 will give you 10% off your first class. So,
yay! Awesome.
Good times.
There you go. So, and I don't know any metalsmiths that don't need this skill, because if you've got, if your hammers are, if you're using chasing hammers or things, where you're like, ugh, it's got all the dings and all the dents, and you want it to look like that.
Mm-hmm.
Look how shiny that is.
I can see myself seeing you.
I know. There's me. Hello.
There's me. I see me too.
You see you? There you are.
I see me in my own. Nice. Emma what? She signed up.
Yeah.
So awesome.
So, but yeah, we've got, this is just one of those skills as a metalsmith, just in terms of, taking care of your equipment and being able to, produce this surface, not just on your hammers, but especially on things like your burnishers. Because, anytime you are rubbing steel or hitting steel onto your metal, it's going to leave that mark. And if the mark's not shiny, the metal won't be shiny, right?
It's going to be, whatever's on there is going to be transferred.
Right. So it really makes a big difference with this. Some of your pliers, some of your other tools, ring mandrels, your burnishers especially, but knowing how to dress the tools and take care of them, and it it makes your life better, it makes your work better, but it also, I think it's really important when you're working with your tools. There's a direct relationship that you're building with your tools and equipment that are intentionally leaving a mark on your work. And if you are leaving marks that are, crusty, that's what people expect of you and your work. And having the attention to detail to be able to take care of your work shows that, you're a little bit higher level craftsperson, first of all. But there's a certain amount of, relationship that you have with these tools over years that, when you're breaking them in and, it works for you because you're taking care of it and you know what to expect to this tool. Yeah. Yes, Tracy, and your bench block as well.
So the question before that was, can you use it to resurface an anvil? The concepts are the same. The tools may be different.
Yeah. But you could address that Saturday for sure.
Yep, absolutely.
And the bench blocks especially, because that's an easy one to redo.
Oh, yeah.
Very similar to redoing like a hammer like this. But it's one of those things that, once you start, dressing the faces, dressing
What's up, Patrick?
and, just really taking care of them, it builds a bond and a relationship that makes you want to do it more.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And it's you've heard me say it, and a lot of people who are watching have heard me talk in the past. The one thing that's really missing in the community, and I'm working on it, I'm getting there. I'm doing my research project and compiling information and making a lesson plan and maybe writing a book about tool maintenance and making your own tools. Because as a metalsmith, as somebody who, works in, anything, works in wood, works in metal, works in prints, anything, the skills to have the ability to make your own tools or modify your tools to meet your needs is one of those things. It's magical because it opens the door to so many awesome things for yourself.
It really does. And, I think there's a misconception now that, you should be, why doesn't somebody have that tool? Where's the tool that does this thing? And it's not the tool that does that thing. It's you that does that thing with a tool that you either have to make or adapt or, whatever. And this is a way to begin that. And not just to, just by being able to take care of the tools, that you've got. And, even if you've got tools that were like your father's, grandfather's, grandmother's, whoever, that have been passed down through the ages, or you found found on eBay or at a garage sale, and you know that they've had a life, they've been loved, and they just need to be brought back to life. They need to be refaced and kind of redone. So
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's the whole idea behind. So like, I was a woodworker, and then I was a metal worker, and then I worked in stone, and then all the things. The one thing that is kind of transverses all of that is that the ability to work with your hands and do something, that all transfers. The only thing that's different is the medium that you're using and maybe some of the processes. So working with steel is the exact same as working with gold and silver in that respect. Right. You just need to know that the concepts and the processes for working in steel versus working in silver and gold may be a little bit different.
Yeah. Well, a lot of people that work in steel are making a lot of their own tools in steel, of course, because you've got to have tongs that do different things. You've got to have, bending brakes that you can wrap stuff around. In wood, and if you're doing, whether you're working on a lathe or you're carving, you have to sharpen those tools. You have to maintain those tools, because if they're dull, you can't carve wood with them. So
I just forged 2 handles for a pair of casting tongs.
Oh yeah, Rashana.
Yes, so they're forged. I need to finish them up a little bit and then set the rivet and all that kind of fun stuff. But
awesome.
And that's it. She's like these. So it was like a almost like a barbecue tong that came
Yeah.
with her casting machine, and she'd grab it, pick it up, and then it'd fall and slide out. And she's like, "Really?" And it may be hand strength, it may be the design of it, who knows? But she's like, "Can this be done better?" I'm like,
Yeah.
"I'll make you something."
Yeah, I can. So, but yeah, and sometimes it just starts with what? Making this look like this, where it's like shiny, so shiny. So yeah, stamp making class. Oh yeah, the stamp making class is a good one. For making
stamp making and hammers can be very, very similar in the respect that you can take a hammer, put it on your metal, and then strike it with a mallet, and now your hammer is a stamp. So if you have an old hammer that you really love the kind of natural texture that's on it, or you want to texturize your own hammer, your hammer is basically just a stamp with a handle on it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And if that stamp looks crusty, so your metal's going to look crusty. If your stamp is shiny, you're going to have a shiny spot. So yeah, maintaining those tools is super important. If you, have a metal studio and you have not done this before, you don't know how to take care of your hammers and your tools, please sign up for this class. It is worth its weight in gold because it's something you'll be able to do for the rest of your career and be able to pass to other metalsmiths. But please, the reface, refurbish the hammers class is a really important skill to have, and it's such a good basic skill that
it's one of those fundamental building blocks to being able to maintain the rest of your tools is understanding it's easy to work in steel.
And I know that people get very, romanced with the idea of being able to learn a new technique and be able to do certain things and finding new tools. But if you can't take care of the old tools and you don't know how to do that, that's really super important.
So
hold on to those tools. Yeah.
This class to me is like, have you seen that movie, The Notebook?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's just a beautiful love story, right?
Right.
This class is a beautiful love story.
Oh, yes, indeed.
This class is like the Notebook of taking care of your tools.
That's exactly
because
true.
You have this beautiful piece of, old steel or antique or hammer or stamp or whatever that was passed down from generation to generation. And then you picked it up at a flea market or, it got passed to you from your father or grandfather or whatever.
Right.
And it's in this condition that somehow, somewhere along the time, it may have been loved, but it may not been loved enough.
Or it may have been loved and forgotten. It may have had like this really incredible life making things. And But somebody had asked where the link is, and Tracy had asked, and thank you, Emma Oakwood. So it is, it's with Little Metal Foxes. You can find it on our site. There's also a link in the reel that will take you to that particular class. But if you go to littlemetalfoxes.com, all the classes are there. And Chris's class is coming up this Saturday. I'll be moderating, so I'll be there too. So sign up. Well, speaking of Chris,
hey, you got a box.
I got a box. And,
what do you think of my green labels?
I got a box from you, and I wanted to open it since I had you here tonight.
Oh yeah.
And
what do you think of my green labels?
I like the green label. It's kind of special. It's kind of
something
mint.
New. Yeah.
A mint label. Mint's very in right now. It's good.
I just really like green.
Do you?
Yeah.
Well, there's green all over the place. Look at that.
I know it. Then that's post-consumer recycled bubble wrap too. So.
Well, and I'll use it again. I always reuse bubble wrap.
I only buy the recycled stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. I know that we've got the place that I work. We send stuff back and forth from Rio and to plating and stuff. And I know that plastic wrap has just been back and forth and back and forth and back and forth.
Oh yeah.
So yeah. Oh goody. Okay. So
what do you got in there?
So what I've got, what's in the box? Here we go. So I got some of your pink tourmalines. What?
Oh yeah.
Oh, those are awesome. And those are 4mm pink tourmaline. And yep. Very excited about that. Those are beautiful. Those are really lovely.
Aren't they?
Yeah.
Those are from my good friend Jan.
Yeah.
And Jan had a jewelry business in the 60s, 70s, 80s, and early 90s.
Those are
And
really clean. These are
those
really
came from Brazil, and they were cut in her personal cutting center that she had in India.
wow. Yeah.
But she would go down to Brazil and she'd select her own material to have cut.
Yeah. Well, they're not only, I mean, so many times tourmaline is, yeah, it has a lot of inclusions. These are really clean. They're really clean. So, and I know
That's what you get from
yeah,
old material.
yeah, I know you've got more tourmaline coming, and I know you've got more of the green and the other colors too.
Yeah.
But also, speaking of tourmaline,
Oh no.
oh my gosh. Okay, so this is the multicolored tourmaline strands.
Look how clear that stuff is too. The clarity and the no inclusions.
Those are really lovely, Chris.
Those had been in storage for almost 30 years and I just got a hold of them.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, the color on that's just gorgeous. Yeah, absolutely. Look at that. Oh my gosh. I'm looking at them and holding them up, and I was like, oh, they really look good on camera. The colors really come through, and they are just, you can see the transparency, but they just have lots of flash and color.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Ooh.
Check those for an inclusion too. You won't find them in there.
Yeah, those are really clear. They're really colorful.
When's the last time you saw tourmaline that clear?
I don't, 30 years ago, maybe?
Yeah.
Yeah. And moonstones. So, yes, these I'm sharing with one of the girls from work who wanted to
Nice.
moonstones too. And those, oh my God, that's gorgeous.
So here's the thing with moonstone. And that moonstone, check it for black spots. You see any black spots in that stuff?
Not any.
Yeah.
Yeah, those are and they're so colorful. They have a lot of reds and blue flashes, yellow flashes. Yeah, these are really rich color. For white, there is, yeah, you can kind of see it in the reflection in the camera. But yeah, ooh, Michelle, these are so pretty. All right. So also moonstones, or not moonstones. Saw those. The peridot, and the peridot also, those are real clear as well. Those are lovely. Good color. So pretty. Yay, moonstones. So yeah. Okay. Thank you, Chris.
You're welcome.
Oh,
So
quick, real fast.
just so everyone can kind of see, I got a little bit more show and tell. You can see them a little bit better.
Yeah.
We find my
in the bulk of, yeah. I think.
So we got some tourmaline.
Yeah. So pretty.
We got our garnet.
Yeah. Those are round.
Yes. So they're round, not faceted. All the different like kinds and sizes I have on the website already.
Do you have
what that is?
Looks like jet onyx. What do you got?
Black spinel.
Black spinel. Is it faceted black spinel or round?
No, this is rounds.
Okay. Lovely. Chris,
Let's
you're
see.
a little pixelated. You're moving really fast.
Oh no.
Here you go. Yeah, that aquamarine is beautiful. I should have had you throw some in, but I've got a bunch. So yeah.
Lots of aqua. I haven't seen aqua like this in ever.
Yeah.
More of the beautiful moonstones.
Yeah, the moonstones are so pretty.
I do have also amethyst.
Ooh, are they faceted or round?
These are faceted.
Okay.
round. I've got round peridot.
Yeah.
I've got some round tourmaline too.
Oh, do you? Yeah. I
So
like the faceted ones. I mean,
I do too, but even for this being round, the color is just fantastic.
Yeah, it is.
I have very, very few of these, but an all green Verdolite tourmaline.
Oh, yeah. And those were about 3 millimeter on the tourmaline, the multis. Yeah.
Yeah, about 3.5.
And the round ones, I think, look more like a 4, possibly.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah.
I've got a bunch of different sizes. I've got a big bin right next to me of more.
Yeah.
So,
and that's not even all that's coming, right?
What's that?
You said that wasn't even all that was coming. That was just sort of a...
Oh, no, more's coming.
Yeah, cool. Okay.
You know what else is coming?
No.
Old stock cabochons that have been in storage for over 30 years.
Wow. That's
more of them.
It's going to be nice. I mean, you have to come down to visit.
Yeah, come up. So we were talking about maybe one of these days when I come up, I maybe bring some stones and the Seattle peeps can stop by the studio.
Yeah.
Maybe do like a trunk show.
Yeah, that'd be great. You know, I think, you know, if you're planning on coming up at some point, yeah, let's do a, you could do a pop-up.
Yeah.
And do a pop-up stone sale here. And we could invite everyone to stop by and peek at your stones. That'd be awesome.
I'll bring my own armed security.
There you go. I've got Simon here, so he's good.
All right,
but,
good.
Well, okay, here's the deal. This weekend, get signed up for your class, everybody, for Chris's class for refacing the hammers, because you want your hammers to look like this, not crusty. So, yeah, so sign up for that.
You know how, like, movies, they have, like, the movie title, and then there's the thing underneath it, the, like, catchphrase? Mm-hmm. Repolishing hammers, comma, a love story.
That's what it should say. You should have put that in your byline for the class.
You have to pronounce the comma, though, so you know there's a dramatic pause.
Dramatic pause. Well, it should
dramatic
say comma.
Pause.
Dramatic pause.
For dramatic purposes.
Exactly. So, yes. But, yeah, get yourself, work on your forming pliers. I'd love to see your favorites, tag us. And, but yeah, everybody, you guys have a great week. I will see you on Saturday for the class, and looking forward to it.
For those of you who are watching this and like had missed the link, because I know when you save it, links don't stay, but the link for the beads I have listed is lionpunchforge.com. I know, it's pretty easy. And then I did a little special section near the top of my website for all the new beads I listed. So this should be easy to find. And if you are looking for something that maybe you don't see, maybe I haven't listed it yet, so just get a hold of me. Yeah.
I'll make sure that you're tagged in the in this afterwards as well. And
awesome.
And yeah, but do sign up for the hammer refinishing class, tool refinishing.
Yes.
Refacing, repurposing.
It's gonna be
a love story.
Because the skills that you get from that, you can apply to your pliers, your bench block. It's just a real basic love story about how to work with steel.
Well, and it's such a wonderful relationship that you form with your tools.
A love story.
A love story. Exactly. So, yeah, get signed up for that, and you can use Lion Punch Forge 10 as your. Oh, sorry, Lion Punch.
Lion Punch 10.
10 is your code. So, get signed up for that with your 10% off. There you go. All right, Chris. Thanks so much. I will see you.
I gotta go back to work now.
See you Saturday. Get back to shipping all that stuff out to all the people like me. Who love it.
Yeah.
And
so 18 boxes went out today, and I have another 11 going out tomorrow.
Great. That's fantastic.
So good times.
Good luck. All right, buddy.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you so much. And I'll put all the links and things down below.
Everybody.
So, see you later. Bye.